Boom, bam, bam. I am President Chad, and welcome to the EPL, the World Cup Rewind. As we talk about the World Cup, in the house with me is the man Dr. Zeus and the man
Yep.
Adelaise. You
Yeah,
know,
man.
it started with many, but now we are down to 8. Croatia, Brazil, Netherlands, Argentina, Morocco, Portugal, and England, France. Then there were 8. So we're not going to go through all the drama that would have happened prior. We looking to address the thing a little different today. How all the fellas doing? How are they doing this morning?
Doing good,
Yeah,
man.
I good man. I good man. I real cool. I just enjoying the football, boy. I enjoying the World Cup. That is all I could do, boy. I say I go no long time, so I could just enjoy the thing now. No pressure at all.
What's I done?
But you just like me, I
As a
was a,
German
I
guy.
for all intents and purposes, I have to say I was a German, right?
Wow. Wow.
Not because I'm not a German anymore, but Germany is not here, so it makes no sense saying I am a German. When the tournament is finished, I will go back to being a German. Until then,
Wow.
I sides.
Wow, Chad.
I
People go,
adopt sides.
people go say as not no loyalty at all, but no loyalty at all.
Well, bro, if the woman not home, how you gonna be loyal, boy? If she
Which
gone,
I,
if she not there,
which
she
I wait,
leave. If
which
she
I wait for.
dead, she not there. How you gonna be loyal? We're loyal to our memory.
All right, but man. All right, all right. They're coming for you, and not me. They're coming for you. I
Oh
don't mind.
gosh, my fellow German supporters will understand, man. They go understand. They go understand.
Mm.
Um,
Uh,
Remember, if you're looking for that World Cup or just sports memorabilia, period, the fan club is the place you need to be. The fan club is the place you need to go. Check it out. That's why I got this authentic stuff, nice stuff. Get down there and get yourself some merch before all the World Cup stuff is done. And yes, it don't just have Brazil, it have England, it have France, it have teams too. Go and handle your stories at the fan club. So gentlemen, Dr. Zeus, let me jump in there with you here. Which side has most impressed you in the World Cup so far?
um, honestly, it will have to be that Moroccan side. I have to say that at the Croatia, I mean, they were finalists last edition, so not to say it's surprising, but it was more or less expected that they come at least this far. I mean, Brazil is always Brazil, France is France, England. I mean, they were finalists in Euros, so they have a case. Portugal doing good, um, but this Moroccan side, I mean, Argentina is Argentina, and Netherlands is always a darling team. So out of everything there, this Moroccan side, they reached this far after having come out of a group with Croatia and Belgium and get past Spain. Anything less, in fact, they could get knocked out next round and they would be change what they did. They have done very, very much. From the coach to the staff to the players, everybody is just impressive. You can see where it is that they disciplined. Again, I mean, with Spain, when I read with the coach, he said that he had no problem giving Spain the possession, like a soft dominance kind of thing, because they can't do anything with it. Spain pass in the last minute, 120th minute, you still get two centre backs making passes to one another. There's no kind of forward movement. You didn't start Morata. It's like they have no plan. And sad to say, this Spanish team deserves everything they got since 2018 to now. Euros as well. This World Cup is like third successive penalty shootout. So Morocco, thumbs up to them. And thumbs if they beat Portugal, well, they could win the World Cup.
All right, let me just big up Martin, Philip, and Sean in the comments. Sean say he believe Brazil or Netherlands to win the cup.
Mm.
So he picking somebody from that side of the table. All right, talk to me, Adelaide. What's been which team has impressed you the most?
I share the exact same sentiments as Dr. Zeus with Morocco. I think Morocco has been impressing me from since day one. Um, they impressed me in qualifying as well. I guess from the route of qualifying they came from, it's the style of football that they play. It it seemed a bit elite to the opposition they would have faced, so it would have been tested at the World Cup. But I think from day one, they are the one team that has been the most consistent. Their style of football hasn't changed. It doesn't matter who they came up against, the players. They have a lot of players who are individually exceptionally skillful. So they really have been bringing that flair football to a great extent. I think they showed no team. They showed teams enough respect, but they didn't show any team any respect to the extent of being like, "Oh, we playing a big team, boy. We are well." No, they and the same thing with Spain as well. As Dr. Ju said, they were able to. Spain's strength is they would like to hold possession and stuff, and Morocco isn't. They haven't shown any time that they have played here to try to quiver under any team strength. They allow you to play your football. They play their football, and which football dominates on the day, that's how it's going to go. So Morocco has definitely impressed me by far the most. They are going to play Portugal coming up next. That game could be it's promising to be, if not England, France. That game could promise to be the game of the tournament because Portugal has been very impressive and expressive as of late, and so is Morocco. So we'll see who comes through there, but I don't think any team play that grand Morocco plays, boy.
Yeah.
Once they keep Ronaldo on the bench, they should be good to go.
You see how well it disrespected. I will talk about that before we leave. I will make a statement.
Don't worry. We can touch on it soon. I had to go and I had to switch my background. I had Ten Hag pick up there. We in dealing club football.
With the same thing with the sides now with the team. I think that
my boys and them in Trinidad and
I think a massive shout out should also go to Japan. They came out on top in a group with Spain and Germany and sent Croatia down to the wire. So I think it's a close to me, Morocco, because they came out of it, but Japan deserves a very, very much the same praise that we give Morocco, because to beat Germany and Spain is not too easy feat.
Everybody bigging up Morocco and Japan. I was going to mention Japan. Japan deserve it. But I agree with my boy Grell here. As somebody who follows England, not just because of the EPL, but I know most Caribbean people, they look South American, it's Brazil, it's this and that. But there are some of us, me included, that all the teams that is back are European teams. Germany first, right under Germany is England, under them is Italy. Well, Italy not in it. So, right? But and then the Dutch. Those are my teams. Those are the 4 teams that is back in that order. Right? All European teams. And I was ripping Southgate for that team he carried. I didn't understand why Calvin Phillips was there. I didn't understand why, despite the little bacchanal with him, why they didn't carry the striker from Brentford. What Wilson doing there. I ripped Southgate. But the football England playing is not the football they was playing in the Euros. He's playing more attacking football, less defensive. And because I was ripping him so hard before the World Cup, I had to say I'm impressed with England because I really didn't expect them to play the kind of football they play. Not that I didn't think they were capable, they had the players, but I just didn't think the coach was going to play the football. So I had to give Southgate some props, not because I'm a fan of his, but I rip him so much. You had to give a man props when he prove you wrong. So I'll give England the blind and say England has impressed me.
But who the play that would really push them to the limit besides USA, and USA could have beaten them? Who the play? Who the play of
no, well, that's not the point. That is not the point. No, let me tell you something. And now that they play in France, will he revert to this ultra defensive? Maybe he might. But what I'm saying is, you could only be 2 in front of you. It's not your fault who you play. But the fact that they played attacking football, I just gave him kudos for that.
Right. So when they played Iran, they hit Iran 6. Then
Iran looked good.
And then against USA, they could have lost that game if USA had finishing was a little sharp, a little more on point, a little more disciplined. And then they blew away Wales. So again, I'm not fighting your opinion with England. I'm just saying, with the caliber of players at his disposal, England should be beating everybody by the same scoreline, or maybe 4-0 or 4-2, constantly. No, again, yes, they have.
Let me don't say that, because
they have France to play.
They just always say football is played on the day, and Brazil show that, because Brazil wait until the knockout stage to really dominate teams. The other games they win,
There's
they
a
deserve
difference.
to win, but they didn't dominate teams.
There's a
So,
big difference. There's a big difference there. Brazil,
with the talent Brazil have and the talent England have,
when you look
I
at
think Brazil have more talent.
when you look at England individual players, the start 11, whomever he picks, these
Yeah.
players, the start for their team. Grealish just starts for sitting here on the bench. Maybe Henderson, maybe arguably he don't start as often, but every single person on that team, as McPherson said, they can't pick the World Cup. He's correct, but every single person on England's team is starters for their respective teams. So I mean,
And
England
that's not the same for Brazil, is what you're saying.
not so much. Not so much. Fred does start some games. Fred does start some games here for us as well. Yeah, it is a back and forth. I mean, one of our left backs, Lodi, he used to play for Preston. The one I can't remember off the top of my head right now. This is not about Brazil or England. It's about that England has such wealth of talent that we shouldn't even not be asking if they're going to win it this year or if this year is the year.
And it's the interesting thing with that, just to piggyback on your statements. I think the world would have agreed with me that they wasn't impressed with English football in the past few tournaments. And they wasn't impressed with the team that Southgate chose, because coming into this tournament, England, if we honest, wasn't in the conversation.
No, they won't.
Nobody wasn't saying England nothing. It was Brazil, it was Argentina, it was even Germany was in the conversation before the football started. Nobody wasn't talking about England at all. So again, that just goes to show that I didn't expect much from England. I think most people didn't. So that is why I picked them as that. But nonetheless, I agree with Dr. Zeus that they have a big team, and really and truly they should be performing. And well, they are. So I think they scored the most goals in the tournament so far. So let's see how it goes. Yeah. Talk to me, players. Which players really shining for you?
Buffal having a World Cup to remember. Boy. I think if anybody don't know, I mean, we from Ola, we may probably be following Buffal, but Buffal, if you didn't know Buffal before, you're definitely going to know Buffal from Morocco after this World Cup is finished. He's having, I think Buffal, he had times with Anderlecht and all them other smaller clubs. He has always been an expressive player, but he never really had his time in the limelight, like on big stages. And I think it's almost like he's here with Morocco. There's Amrabat, there's Hakimi, they have Ziyech, they have a lot of players, but it's almost like Buffal's taking the opportunity to showcase himself, to be like, yeah, I'm a big player too. And he has really, really, really been impressive in terms of what he has been doing. So definitely Buffal is the player that stood out the most for me in a high regard. And strange enough, he will never be called one of the best players in the tournament. He will not make the team of the year. But when I watch Brazil play,
if Morocco beat Portugal, they have to put a couple players in that team of the tournament. They have to.
Yeah, definitely.
But as it comes to Brazil now, I've watched a couple games in the group stage, and for me, one of the players that impressed me the most in Brazil's midfield, which may sound weird to plenty of people, is actually Fred. Particularly in their first game, they looked like, when you're watching the Brazilian league, they're among the superpower and everybody's trying to attack and flare and everybody won the ball. They were so haywire. And for the first time in such a long time, I saw Fred actually look like he was playing the role he used to play by Shakhtar Donetsk. And the guy still is a fantastic moderator. Like when Fred came on, Brazil became stabilized. And I think that is where they became really dangerous, because everything wasn't just get the ball and run forward. This guy was the rhythmic pendulum in that team. When Fred is on, listen to me. I was telling someone when I was watching the South Korea game, I said, listen to me, everybody getting carried away with what I see from Brazil here. And I say, this is not Brazil's peak if you're watching how they played in the World Cup. Now imagine you're going to play Brazil and Brazil plays everyone else there, but in the midfield, they start Fred. This scoreline, if Fred had started against South Korea, that halftime would not have been 4-0, That halftime score would have probably been 7. It might sound far-fetched, but it would have been. But as football goes, we know that they assess different things based on statistical stuff, and all these blind things that people do is often overlooked. But Fred, for me, has definitely been one of the top three most impressive midfielders in terms of doing what they are supposed to do and benefiting the team. He won't be rewarded for it at the end of the tournament. That is a given. We could say that from now. But
True.
Fred has been mighty impressive, boy.
And I just want to say for people watching, Adelaide is not a Manchester United supporter. He does not support Manchester United at all. So he not saying Fred because of anything other than what he see.
Yeah, the man
and what he
physical.
know the player to be. Go ahead, Dr. Zeus. Who's your player?
I would look at the players, the position that is overlooked a lot in football as goalkeepers. That is to me, I would say as I would look at Alisson. Despite all the dominance they had against South Korea, Alisson came up clutch with about 3 or 4 saves during the match. Martinez for Argentina. I mean, this guy, he does such good work for Argentina that is overshadowed by Lionel Messi. Him and Di Maria are always outshadowed by Lionel Messi, and both of them do very, very good work. You understand? Morocco's goalkeeper, I could never pronounce his name.
Yeah,
Bono, him. Excellent again. You understand? He came out was in ripping form. To a large extent, I'll look at Japan's goalkeeper, Portugal's goalkeeper. The goalkeepers to me are they win the game or lose the game for you. And I can't pick between any one goalkeeper, but I look at the position itself. It's been so overlooked since what? Since Oliver Kahn was the last goalkeeper to win anything, was the player of the tournament, although they lost to Brazil that year. And it shows that you could score how much goals. If you concede the same amount, then it makes no sense. And I honestly think that our goalkeepers should be rewarded with that kind of brilliance that they have. I mean, I look at Brazil goalkeeping depth. We have 2 number 1 keepers for their respective clubs fighting for starting positions. Even with Everton, to a large extent. When you play in the Brazilian league, a lot of people are like, who is he? I was like, but when you watch the Brazilian league and see what he does for his club, you understand how hard it is.
It was nice to see that Brazil make sure all the players get minutes. Everybody could say that if Brazil end up winning this tournament, that every member of that team say, I played. I didn't just go on the team. I played in the World Cup.
And if you look at all the teams who remain here right now, and you look at the games they played, you will see one common theme. You'll see that their goalkeepers, as Paul said, first team to ever do this, but Brazil did. They played all 26 players. If you look at the teams that remain and look at the goalkeepers and the games they played, you'll see that the goalkeeper came up clutch a lot of times. Foley Flacker, when we gave England and Pickford and Maguire, Pickford still has a job to do, and he did it excellent. You understand? So we can't just say like Fred and Casemiro and Harry Kane and Ramos and these guys are scoring. Very good. And I'm saying no, Morocco, 1 goal alone in group stage. And 1 goal. I mean, he's 2 saves against Spain. But 2 goals against Spain, he saved in the penalty shootout. So I mean, goalkeepers, I've always said it, goalkeepers always be overlooked every single time. And it's about time that ends. I believe it's time that ends.
So as we talking about players, I want to read out some stats. Clubs with the most representation in the quarterfinals. So we're talking about players that play for their respective clubs at the World Cup who have the most. Manchester City and Manchester United tied on 11 players each. PSG have 8. Bayern Munich and Ajax have 7 each. Real Madrid, Chelsea, Atletico Madrid, Tottenham, Juventus, Arsenal, Sevilla, Barcelona, up to Sevilla. All of those teams have 6. Barcelona and Liverpool. Barcelona have 6 as well, and Liverpool have 5. So we see the English clubs doing well because out of this 14-team list, 6 are the top teams. Manchester City, Manchester United, Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal, and Liverpool have a lot of players still in the tournament. So the Premier League leading the way And to be honest with you, some of the Premier League players are really impressing, if we're being honest. Some of the players, I mean, coming up, Portugal, a lot of people were always talking about Bruno Fernandes not playing well for Portugal as he would play for Manchester United. He has stepped up.
Yep.
Right? You have Cancelo and Delo fighting for that spot. And Delo actually benching Cancelo in the last game. You know, you have Ziyech, you know, doing what he's doing for Monaco. You're seeing the Premier League players, not just for England. The reason why I ain't calling none of the English players is because we are accustomed seeing Premier League players do it for England. But we see Premier League players on these other teams as well doing their thing. I mean, I don't really rate Varane. When I say I don't rate him, I don't mean Varane not good.
You don't rate him.
I don't rate Varane as elite, like how I would rate a Ramos.
But the man has been, he won 3 Champions League and a World Cup.
He has been on elite teams and he has been a good contributor on elite teams.
But he was the partner with Ramos, so he could like
job right, but
your job effective. Nobody does know.
Nobody
does know.
So we have Varane, we have a number of guys showing their worth from the Premier League, lighting it up. In the thing. As far as my top players, I have to say this to me has been a World Cup of youth. Jude Bellingham is the player that is going to come out of this World Cup as the most expensive player, without a doubt.
Yeah, I could agree with that to an extent. He really is shining.
When I say the most expensive player, I mean when he is sold, he is going to be the player that played in this World Cup that is sold for the most money, right? He's going definitely for 120, 125 million, right? Minimum. When you look at Gavi for Spain, right? When you look at Vinicius Junior, you know, to me, the young players are really impressing in this World Cup. And the people who everybody was focusing on before, if they're being honest, and not the people stealing the headlines now. Coming into the World Cup, it was Messi, it was Ronaldo, it was Neymar, right? You had this guy from Portugal, Lewandowski, right? The people were still talking about Modric. You know, they were still talking about these guys. And now that the tournament has started, the people who really lighten the tournament are fire at 25 and under.
Yeah, but
the young players.
You talk about lighting up a fire, and then you mentioned Gavi. I mean, like, what has he done for Spain?
Oh gosh. All right. But still, look, overall, the point is the same.
Gakpo. Nobody speak up. You ain't talking even called Gakpo.
Yeah, Gakpo bad.
It have plenty men I forget. Trust me, Gakpo is not the only one. It have a couple men. I had in my mind, I had a long list of players
no problem.
that I didn't mention.
So what Gavi did that stick in your mind that he
Gavi scored a goal in a non-sequential game because they scored about 7. However,
he scored a goal against a team that was playing open.
However,
the
reason I mentioned him is because of his age. Who, you know, when you look at the players, and my focus is not him, my focus is the point that the young players, this World Cup is a World Cup of youth. Coming out of this World Cup, and young players going to stand out.
Still in that conversation, he's only 23. Mbappe is still in that conversation.
And Mbappe as well. Like, see, another name that I forget. Mbappe as well.
Mbappe is doing so good that we forget he's only 23. He already equal Messi. He already equal
Messi.
But
I didn't call his name and I didn't call any of the other than Bellingham.
Yeah.
Even Rashford as well.
Mbappe equal Messi goals scoring record right now in the World Cup at 9. Past Ronaldo. He's only 23. We just seem to like forget that part. Like, I don't even like France.
This has nothing to do with who we like.
But
when young players doing it,
the man is like, how do you stop this guy? At 23, you're already so high already.
And what has impressed me too is I just watch at the quality of men goals.
Yeah, it's not a topic.
People can say what they want, and we're going to touch on that Ronaldo getting bench and whatever for Portugal. Basically, the quality of those goals. You see the quality of Mbappe's goals. You cannot take anything away. The quality of a Vinicius Junior goal when he sit down and have the patience, not just to blast it, but wait for the play to move
Yeah.
and then place that ball. You know, the youth, the talent coming up, I think is really and truly going to shift the conversation. After this World Cup, even if, God forbid, Argentina was to win, God forbid. But even if Argentina or Portugal was to win, after this World Cup, me want to hear about Messi and Ronaldo, you know. Them fellas, we must hear about them from a perspective of they were the best. This is the past. I don't want to hear about best players in terms of this generation anymore. We had to start looking at these fellas who doing it for their countries and their clubs. You know,
this guy
moving
from
forward.
Argentina, who I would love Chelsea to get, Enzo. That
Enzo Fernandez is a big player.
Whoa, Hernandez, that guy
You know,
has
impressive.
been
Impressive.
And but nobody talking about them because anyway, continue.
It's not we. That is why we have to talk about them, because I find too much of the media.
Mainstream media.
Hype. They like to be on the established stars hype, and that is why I just have to mention the young players, because the established stars haven't done it. The Lewandowski, the Messi. Let me tell you something. Messi is almost a hindrance to that team, missing a crucial penalty.
When you talk about Ronaldo getting bench, I will talk about that.
Right? So to me, these fellas, the established stars, Neymar, the amount of Brazil supporters that tell me straight up, they say, boy, they're glad when Neymar injured on the bench.
Yes, you see that? I hate when Brazilian fans say that.
Well, you know that they say it. You know that they say it.
All those Brazilian fans, as Paqueta or Richarlison, one of them said, Rafinha, they love Portugal, they love Ronaldo. In Argentina, they love Messi to a large extent. But in Brazil, they hate Neymar. Why?
No, I don't think they hate Neymar. I think they think Neymar does hold on to the ball too much, and they just prefer the team with more flow in football.
When he was not there for the Cameroon game, although he was injured, right? He was injured. Okay, no problem. When he was not there, he was not seeing anybody taking responsibility and moving with the ball to create.
But the truth be told, even though their finishing was horrible that game, they created more chances in that game.
That's arguable. That's arguable. The game against South Korea, Messi and Neymar came back, and what happened? He took the responsibility to bring players to him to open spaces up. Though I'm not saying, but the saying is right. Yes, he holds the ball a little longer than he should, but this guy has been the best number 3 player for the last better part of a decade. If it wasn't for Cristiano and Messi, he would have had 2 Ballon d'Ors already. For the better part of a decade, he was the 3rd best player on the planet. 8 billion people, he's the 3rd best player in the world. And people don't like him. Come on, man.
As I say, I don't think Brazilian supporters don't like him.
They don't.
I hear people. To me, I don't like my wrong them Brazilian supporters. I don't know any Brazilian supporter that don't like Neymar. And let me tell you something, I spoke to a Brazilian from Brazil already, met him in the mall in Trin City. And so, of course, I asked him, I say, well, who's your favorite player and whatever. And he said Neymar. However, if the team is built around him, he don't think the team will do well in the next World Cup. This was long before the World Cup. This was like months, this early, middle of the year. I had this conversation. And so I don't think that the hate is a hate for Neymar. I think they just feel he's too much of a ball hog. But to each their own.
I go leave that alone.
So historically, for me, it's like this, right? I don't think it's so much that Neymar is the problem as much as I think he's more or less a scapegoat to an extent. And scapegoat to an extent where Brazil has always been a team. You could go as far back as 1958. They have always been a team with a big 3 or a big 4, if you include some of the midfielders. But remember, to the other players, defensive so much, we don't really have, as much as Brazil talking up themselves, is Brazil don't really have much players with the talent of Neymar. So Neymar's skill and talent is up here, and to get the other 2 players to make a breakthrough with him, it's always far-fetched. But it's easy for everybody to say now that, Neymar always thinking for himself, and well, then it's only right to step up and be on the level so you could create a victory with him. If he was the problem, then why he wasn't the problem at Barcelona when he went there and won the Champions League with them? Where he should have been the problem because he didn't do anything different from what he was doing by Brazil. So I think this World Cup is a World Cup where the other players, like we see Richarlison and them, kind of stepping up a little bit. Just step up to the plate. Brazil is notoriously known for having a big tree. Other players need to step up to create that big tree. Vinicius Jr. needs to come alive a little bit more. And he is escaping out of the radar if we go in there. I don't like to talk Brazil, but he's escaping off of the radar because he has made a catalog of bad decisions in the final third, but nobody is saying Vinicius Jr. isn't thinking or whether it's because he's young or whether because he's not Neymar. So the other players need to step up to create this big tree. That is what people are looking for. People are not looking to see, but if Neymar stepping up and Neymar taking on people and Neymar trying to create space and everybody else not showing up, then the problem is it's easy to look on the outside and say, oh, good, Neymar real selfish, Neymar real this, Neymar real that. When really and truly, if you're following Brazilian football, that really is not the case. The only problem is the other players around him and stepping up to his elite level. All right, so in the game that they played against South Korea, we saw the fluency with the other teams and all these different things with all the bouncing of the football, especially with Charlison's goal, the team goal, which is the goal of the tournament by far when you consider the whole play. But could the team do the same thing when Neymar is there? Of course they can. And I think it's a psychological something. These players are playing, they watch Neymar growing up. They are playing and training with Neymar. They know his capabilities. So normally when Neymar is on there, we see players like Anthony. They overdo. They literally overdo trying to over-impress. Do what you all did against South Korea when Neymar is on the field, and no one will have a problem with Brazil. Nobody will have a problem with Brazil. But I kind of real sick and fed up of everybody just blaming Neymar all the time. I'm no Neymar fan, but I'm really sick and tired of hearing Neymar is the problem for Brazil. Neymar. I mean, for God's sake, let the other players step up to a level that he could have another two players to form a top three. And then after that, if for some reason he doesn't show up or he pops down or he goes crazy, then throw him under the bus. But don't do the man that, boy. It's unnecessary pressure for something that clearly isn't his problem.
I know Dr. Zeus agree with you 110%.
100%. I agree with everything.
So I wanna talk about, ask you guys, what has been the best and worst moments at the tournament for you so far? I gonna go first.
Yeah.
Worst moment of the tournament for me was another tournament opening with a German loss.
Ooh, yeah, boy.
Being a German
That's a strong
supporter,
contender.
Germany losing that game was disappointing. Germany crashing out for the second World Cup in a row. The team that have the most quarterfinal appearances, even more than Brazil, the most semi-final appearances, the team with the best stats outside of Brazil in the World Cup to be out of the tournament in the first round, 2 World Cups in a row.
Yeah.
That's painful. That's painful. So that's definitely the
when you
worst.
7, them things happen.
And the best, I have to say, Morocco sending Spain home. And there are a number of reasons why that is the best moment for me. One, I am not a big fan of Spain anymore. When Ramos and this guy who left and went to the MLS, what's his name?
Who's that? Who went to the MLS from?
Used to play for Barcelona before he went, a striker.
David
Villa.
When Ramos and Villa and Iniesta and them fellas was in Spain, I was glad when Spain won the World Cup. But Spain is not one of my sides. Right? I normally don't support them. But you see, when that group left, there's nobody on the Spanish team that I feel any kind of connection with, any kindred to, that I really like. I don't particularly like the coach. So I really wasn't, Morocco, African team making it to the next round. They have been unbeaten. So I've been really impressed. Well, Ole already sung the praises of Morocco earlier in the program. So I'm not going to repeat what you all said. But that has been my shining moment so far. So Germany going home, my worst moment. Morocco beating Spain. my best moment.
Oh, I
Dr. Zeus
remember
talked about-
Spain when you mentioned Spain coach. Remember this is Spain's former coach, right? Because he's no longer there. I think they
Yes,
have
correct,
been
correct.
appointed.
Spain's
Yeah.
former coach, he was fired this morning, bright and early.
Yet Germany
He said
keeps
right
Hansi-
away.
Yet Germany keeps Hansi Flick. You tell me something wrong in this world. Something got to be wrong in this world. Yes. Unless you go ahead now. You go ahead now. 'Cause I don't know now, boy.
How I can say it, boy? I think for me, my worst moment actually was something off the pitch. Actually, I think especially with the era we living in, and my worst moment of the World Cup was seeing how they treated with the lady who had on she wore a jersey that had the markings women's right matter.
Mhm.
It was like about 9 security officers and they detained her like a criminal. And well, the cameraman probably wasn't aware of what was going on, so he actually had turned to it. And you saw it happening. And for me, that was the worst moment by far for me. I felt like, especially in the era we live in, I mean, everybody have their rights and that's the country and whatever, but I mean, we still in the era like we still doing the Northern India thing where women really have no rights at all. Like if you just voice your opinion, you're going and be detained and tried, and that really didn't look good for a World Cup. That really is one of the best World Cups we've ever seen.
Can I
Best
just
moment,
step in and say
yeah.
something later?
hmm
We have to realize, and I know there's a sport forum, but I just need to put it out there to put it in perspective. We have
Yeah.
to realize that we are living in a world where even those countries, Western countries, that like to talk about democracy,
hmm
that this world is moving more in the direction of authoritarianism. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? Because the before this, the other big tournament was the Olympics. And the last Olympics was held in China. And
Yeah.
even American politicians, right? The head of the Senate at that time, the White House, was telling American players, don't go and make any political statements in China.
Yeah.
Right? So we live in a world where the Western countries talk a good game, but they still support these, authoritative governments and
Yeah.
around the world because they tell the players, hey, go and hush them out. Right? So a lot of people may be against Qatar, but this is not something that is just limited to Qatar, because the exact same thing, just the Chinese were probably were even stricter.
Yeah.
Right? They were even stricter with political statements and stuff than what is going on in Qatar. So we just have to recognize that is something that is happening
Yeah.
around the world in international sports. And to me, enough is not being said about it from a global perspective,
True.
not just the World Cup. But go ahead.
Yeah. My best moment actually was watching the demise of the Belgium team. I was really, really satisfied with watching Belgium's demise.
Wow.
Wow. Particularly because, well, if you know me and Chad, you know me, I do a lot of the background research and stuff going in.
Oh, yeah.
And I was very much aware of the issue because there has been a big rift between Vertonghen and De Bruyne for quite some time. They did well to keep it more or less internal. And then Alderweireld, he has been lobbying behind the scene to get Lukaku to come back on the team even when he was injured and all these kind of different things. And the team just wasn't playing. Belgium wasn't Belgiuming, even before the World Cup. So it came to a point where when they went in and they still had them as a main favorite and stuff, I was like, on what premise are they basing this on what? On star names or something? Because they weren't playing football. And I was glad that Belgium was exposed for as much as they came with the high ranking, they were exposed for what was really happening. Clearly the coaches and the background staff wasn't addressing the issue. They were basically sweeping it under the carpet. But then everything started to come out in the open one by one. So after every loss or after every result, they started to come out and stuff. And for who don't know, there's been Courtois and these not suggestion. Courtois and De Bruyne no longer speak. That is a fact. Hazard retired because he just wanted to be out of the whole issue or whatever. Lukaku is in
He should not be there in the
he's seeing
first
a
place, but go
therapist
ahead.
right now. right? So he probably have a session as we speak as well because he had to seek a therapist because they were saying that he looks kind of weird in the game, but they were saying that he started having like a not anxiety attack, but a mental breakdown in the game. He was missing his set of goals and chances. Alderweireld has been ostracized basically from a lot of the players because he tried to be peacemaker after everything happened, and then people were like, "We use the one who lobby for Lukaku, and look what he come and did." So the whole team is malfunctioning, and I think they being knocked out of the World Cup, it created the avenue for us who would have played football and stuff before, and we know what a locker room is like. Like we would have come from an era where if they have issues like that, all right, even if most times the coaches and them don't have to get involved because as players, you had to stand up and be like, yo, you see this? We dealing with this now, this had to finish here because if we're not a team, it didn't make any sense. And I think Belgium didn't take that approach and they were still seen as, this glory team are going to come out there. And no. I was glad that they got knocked out. They didn't play the football deserving to go through. And now that the issues really come forward, hopefully these things get addressed. Right? They probably somewhere making waffles now, which they're probably really good at, and that is awesome. But we want the football issues to be rectified for the sake of all these people out here.
Them wicked. I don't know how them so wicked. Why them so wicked? But I know so them wicked. Them wicked.
I really want them to focus on football.
You are a hater, dog. You just happy to see house burning. You just like, yeah.
No. I really.
Wow,
I felt like that team they were overrated coming into the tournament. And then I felt like with all the issues, they covered it up in a sense to make it look as though it was house. And for me now, and I'm sure for plenty other journalists out there, when you watch their pre-match or pre-World Cup build-up and the interviews and stuff, I felt deceived because you're listening to what's going on from the coach talking one thing, then the players talking another thing, and coming into it, everybody trying to make it sound airy-fairy, but then you're aware of what's going on, and then in their personal spaces or the Twitter or things is confusion. And I feel like for the world of football, this is not something that we wanted to showcase because let's say Belgium, let's say it just happened that Belgium went on and won the World Cup, right? As a young footballer looking on and watching in on this, you could create a defense for yourself to be like, yeah, well, if it have beef with me and this partner beefing anything, I don't really have to resolve it. Once we get a result, that is cool. It's cool for we to just be beefing and not resolve things. And that should never be accepted in any sport. It really shouldn't. It doesn't matter who you are. So I felt like with them being knocked out, it created the avenue now that we do have this, at least they didn't win, so it didn't become as big as it could have. But it created the avenue to let people know that as a team, everybody need to be in one accord to make it happen.
when you beat Brazil, these things just happen. Last week, beat Brazil. They're laughing, right? France beat Brazil 98 final. Next World. It may not be a case of this cause and correlation, but France get knocked out the next Belgium, Germany. We see what's happening when they beat Brazil. These are the things that's happened there. And not say anyhow. Two things. Now, what Martin Phillips said there, I agree with. But to me, the reverse is what I believe in. Spain was playing a tiki-taka football 2008 to 2012. The world didn't know how to counteract it. Now the world knows how to deal with it. You see Spain and Barcelona facing the consequences of that.
Mm-hmm.
Give them the ball, block up the channels, no avenue, stifle them, push them outside. They have nothing at all to do. That is it. We're done with that. The Europeans catching up to the fact that, and the more so when you look at English football, English players, I should say, team players from other countries, South America, Belgium, wherever, they come England and play. Very few English players go outside. Now, the argument could be that the coaches from outside coming in and playing a philosophy, but that is just one aspect. When you play outside, you're playing against teams who have different philosophies in a whole other culture. So when you see them come together now, Nima playing France and Spain, Fred playing in England now, Casemiro playing Spain and England, so they could, hey boy, he does do so. Them fellas known to be doing this, You know, so it's like you would see now that they have exchange of ideas. now with England, I can't say the same thing. But anyhow, my worst moment for the World Cup actually came off the field, though. Both moments, both good and bad, was when Eto accosted the fella from YouTube, a YouTuber. He was talking about the perceived corruption in Cameroonian football with regards to Algeria and the match they had, those allegations of match fixing with the referee and whatnot. And then had the recent allegations where it is that Mbolo's mother came out and said, unless it's part of Cameroon, unless it's part of Eto's management company or firm in football in Cameroon, you will not be selected. Or if you pass money, you won't be selected. Similar to Trinidad alleged allegations. Say that you won't be elected. And he assaulted the guy outside. He hit him into his knee in his face. And it was very bad. Whether the allegations are true or not, whether the guy, you understand, maybe he was up in his face with the camera. You are the representative for Cameroonian football. And you are representing, sad to say, in this day and age still, Africa at a whole different level. Whatever you do, they'll say them Africans and them Cameroonians and them. So he could have, I believe he could have and should have dealt with it a lot more diplomatic, or even tell him, ask your mother, something like that. But the moment you put hands on someone,
then is you're supposed to act like a diplomat.
Yeah. So the moment he physically assaulted him, all kind of right or wrong going out the window. The fact is, you hit the man, and he could do whatever he want with you right now. And it was very, very poor. And I think that Eto should have done a lot better. And he will never see this. So hopefully he does, but he might never see this clip. But Eto, Sammy, better than that. Only doing back-to-back treble, better than that. You're better than that. Deal with it better than that now. And best moment actually came from when Wales play Iran. Not for not feeling, but because the assistant referee there was a Trinidadian. He left Wales. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
And I think that he didn't really praise him today, like it wasn't front page news. People actually watch him. I think that was such a wonderful thing. It's like, I'm not really here since 2002. We haven't had a referee in the World Cup since, what is his name? Michael Ragunath. And I think that was a very, very nice thing. Out of 129 officials in 192 countries, how much ever persons are referees, you in this dot in the world are selected to referee a match. And I think that is a very, very nice and to me, it beyond words, because my mother was a referee in Trinidad and Tobago, and I know the rigors that I had to go through just to even be a B-list or a C-list referee. You understand? To learn the next language, your physical demands. It's almost like he's a player. You understand? And then they have the added on things with them. So it's I think that is something that we didn't, Trinidad and Tobago didn't speak about outside of the footballing world and outside people who knew about it. I think it's something that it should have been pushed really, really hard. And for people at least to watch that game and say like, yeah, boy. So that FIFA now would see, hey, more eyes on this game because of the diversity. Not just picking somebody because they're black or they're female. And also the three women who refereed the game. I can remember game now. That was that was a very nice.
Germany, Costa Rica.
Jamaica, right. That was to me, that was a very nice gesture as well. You're on mute, Adelise. You're on mute. Your mic on mute.
Yeah, that's a nice it was a nice day, but that the same day my team went home. So we're glad for that. But
and I think that the other factor of it is that when you look at the stats after matches and you see that you have a spike in Trinidad watching this game, why? Oh, because of the referee, you would now look at not just picking people because you want a diversity pick, but looking at qualified person. Or also extending your higher programs to persons who are in countries that are deemed third world to give them the experience to, to make them
give FIFA a little hand for that.
Yeah.
Because they have been trying. They have been trying to do that.
Yeah, they did. And I honestly had no bad moments on the field for me. I had no good moments because football is football. Anybody can do anything at any point in time. So I won't, besides Richarlison's goal, I won't pick anything else right now.
Well, let me jump onto you with this one time then. Who is going to be the two finalists?
Brazil, France.
Adelise?
Whoever win between England and France, that is for sure. And then I think I'll go out on a limb and I'll say Morocco. Yeah.
But I'm on the same side.
No,
Oh, them on the same side of the bracket?
Yeah. I'm on the same
Oh,
side.
now, well,
Argentina
Morocco and
and Brazil and Brazil, Croatia, and Argentina, Netherlands playing tomorrow for
Yeah.
semi-finals on that side, and then England,
oh,
France.
well, Morocco and huh. I gotta really say Brazil. I'm hoping that Brazil will disappoint me.
So
I would like to see Brazil. I
Morocco,
would like to see Brazil in a final. I really would like to see Brazil in a final.
Brazil, Morocco for Adelaide, Brazil, France
Yeah, sure, of course.
for Dr. Zeus.
What a 98
And
revenge.
I am going to say Brazil, England.
So we are three Brazil.
Yeah, that's why I didn't say France because I'm not confident that France passing England. So that's why I really couldn't say France.
What?
I'm really not confident with France passing England.
What are you watching?
I'm not confident. I think. No, why I say that? And Kyle Walker. I think that's a good process there.
Kyle Walker.
He couldn't man market with Kyle Walker for sure.
So who's
He
stopping
going to rename. So why I say that? I expect England. Yeah, why I expect Southgate to try. He going to man mark Mbappe with Kyle Walker. He going to create and leave avenues to make. He going to create diversions to allow for Mbappe to probably cut in to get away from Walker or something to target Maguire. So you're going to make Maguire seem exposed. And I think he's going to use his defensive midfielders because England has been running really, really fit. He's going to use his defensive midfielders probably just to intercept. I don't think they could really stop Mbappe, but he's going to intercept France because France moves the ball really well in the attacking third. So he's going to use the players to intercept the passes, and England is going to play total counter-attacking football.
So after
and with the pace and thing they have, I think that is where they could really catch France. I don't know how the game will go, but I can't say for sure France going to beat England. I really can't say that.
So what you say is after Kyle Walker tracking Mbappe, let's say he must be just dropped a half yard or a half inside a bit. So Hernandez coming up on the same left-hand side. Who's going to watch him? Who's going to watch Griezmann?
I don't think, the car watch him, but I don't think, I think even from France mind too, like if I am France's coach too, I'm not expecting to see Theo Hernandez as involved. I mean, I just style as an AC man too, so I'm a boy. But why I say that is because it's not like I'm going and play. I'm not playing Spain or anybody. I'm playing England, and the liability if Theo gets involved, the liability of him being exposed by any team is this England team because of how quick they probably are the fastest counter attack in the competition so far. So I think taking the chance to overcome it with Theo early, I think he will definitely be wary of that because if he commits and England manages to just intercept the ball, that exposure could be deadly. And England's last game, they laid down a marker. I felt like the last performance was like they deliberately performed at a level that was like, watch us now. That is what I got from England's last game.
Once England don't start Grealish and Sterling, the wing backs for France have to stay home.
Who's stopping?
Whether it's Saka or Rashford or Foden on the next side, if those wing backs get caught out, England will make them pay.
And remember Dembele is overdue as well. Dembele is overdue. He's an over dribbler. So for me,
who's stopping him?
I don't think. I think the idea is they would allow Dembele to get a lot of the ball. I think they will try to keep the ball away from Mbappe's side because they know that for sure Dembele is going to beat you for sure. The first time when he run at you, he'll beat you, but he's going to cut back and over dribble.
So you're going to allow the guy who could swing in and shoot with his both feet, time and space. That way,
me personally, I can say I'll give time and space. But what I will do if I play in France, I am allowing passes to go to Dembele because I know for sure I can really mark, in all fairness, France's movement with Giroud and them in the box. Giroud movement is impeccable. His movement in the box is really impeccable. If I allow the ball to go to Mbappe, I really am dead. Because you can't really stop him, you can isolate him. But if he gets a half a chance, he's going to get a ball in there. If I give Dembele that, I could put $10,000 on every play that Dembele is going to go down the line. He'll beat my defender, but that ball is not going into Giroud. He's going to cut back
You will
and
lose that
try to
money.
dribble again.
You will lose that money. I'm telling you. Because you only call
If
three
you
players.
survive,
You only call three players. Again, I keep asking. When Griezmann shot in from the middle, who was going to mark him? Who going to push up the mark
nah,
him?
the man actually for me, if I watching the whole team now, Mbappe obviously, you know, Giroud and them, but actually the main man, because we saw it against Iran, we saw it with USA, they didn't capitalize. Who else we saw it with, boy? England has been struggling. The main man against England is going to be Adrian Rabiot. And let me tell you why. Against Iran, England has struggled against them and USA with the unpredictable late runs from deep coming through. They suffered with it against Iran. USA, for whatever reason, just chose not to be clinical on that day. But they suffered with the exact same late penetration. And Adrian Rabiot, he is notorious for that at club level, at country level. So I think if England have anything to really worry about, of course, you had the Mbappes and everybody, but the man that could really cause the problems is Adrian Rabiot. I don't know how they're going to deal with that. I really don't think they have a fix for that, except probably trying to just make the game a dirty game, like make it real, plenty fouls, how the play keep breaking down. I don't know.
That's my point. As good as England starting and bench is individually, as a team, I do not see them posing a threat to France in any shape, form, or fashion. None at all.
Oh.
None.
I see that game being so close, boy.
France
I
beat
think
France
the game is going to be close as well.
Right,
Whoever
because-
wins that game is
But
not
we
going
thought-
to win by more than one goal. I
And we
expect it to be. I don't expect a 1-0. I expect
Nah.
it to have goals.
It's going to be
But whoever
4-2 for France.
wins the game,
They're gonna
not
be
going
4-2
to
or
win by
4-1.
more than one goal.
4-2 or 4-1. France.
It could be 4-2 or 4-3 or 3-2.
Harry Kane has not impressed me.
No.
He has not impressed me. Jude Bellingham, to me, is being played not in his strength.
He's been impressive.
But he has. I can't even fight it. I can't even fight it. He's been impressive, but that's not even where he could shine, and he's been impressive. You understand? Foden needs to play freedom. Do what you want, brother, man. You just play as you want. Do whatever you have to do. Whatever. Leave him, let him do what he wants. That's the only player. I'm a Chelsea guy. That's the only player. Not even Mason or Connor. That's the only guy, Foden. Once he gets moving, very hard to stop. But the most talented players in Ghana.
But Saka has been having a really, really good World Cup too. But I think he's been under the limelight because of, like, he hasn't been doing all the frills and trills and all these different things. But the pass to the assist, he has been critical to that too, down inside. So he's one that people had to watch. I think nobody has been watching Saka for the World Cup yet, and Saka has been hurting everybody so far.
Nobody cares about England. Nobody cares. They reached this far.
That's true. I don't care about them neither, but I don't watch them.
Watch them leave. Watch them leave. That's what I'm sure about. I'm sure England going and
I hear that. I hear, and what you're saying is correct. I said it at the beginning of the program. England has been floating under the radar coming into this cup.
Yeah.
Nobody was singing it's coming home. Not even the English was expecting anything big in this tournament, if we're honest.
Yeah.
You know, the English media does always big up England. Not even them was bigging up England. So if England was to beat France, trust me, the volume where England is concerned is going to turn right up. Right up. But let me get into the big question. The big question of it all. Who is going to win the World Cup and why they're going to win?
Brazil.
So go ahead, Dr. Zeus, tell me.
Because-
Brazil is going to win. Why are they going to win?
Brazil is doing what the other, besides the 2002 World Cup, they have done what every other Brazilian team has done to win the World Cup. The 2002, they was enjoying themselves. They had immense talent, they was enjoying themselves. The other teams who won the World Cup for Brazil were enjoying themselves, but they had a tactical plan. And this Brazil, they're enjoying themselves and they have a plan. They still know what to do. They nobody getting complacent. A free-flowing, a Brazilian team that enjoying football with a plan is a dangerous team. So Criollo got 4. After the second goal, the men and them started to relax. Although the dance from the first goal, they started to relax themselves. You could see men started hit from outside, all kind of thing. And you could see now that, hey boy, the train was moving, you know, but like it's starting to, you see, and they came over Switzerland, who was stubborn, just came across them. Champions find a way. Other teams have a fair enough point, and I say no. And Brazil's always coming as the favorites, so it's always had that pressure. But from what I see in this Brazil team, I haven't seen it before. Maybe 2010 could be arguably, but yeah, Donga again. But this Brazil team, to beat this Brazil team, is not just a matter of scoring more goals than them. Although that is the ultimate thing, to score the goal. But how you can score the goal on a team when you don't even have the motivation to play against them? Because you know when they get the ball, what they're going to do. Is it that man going to shoot, you're going to drop back, you're going to dribble. You have to be, you can't switch off for even a second. And these guys know how to make you switch off for a second. Switzerland game again, one split second, one piece of brilliance. And that was it. It was game over. This game, Brazil is, if Brazil loses this World Cup, whoever beat them, they need to be go down as the best World Cup team of the 20th century to beat this Brazil team. If they reach the final, if Brazil reaches the final, if they lose before, okay, no problem. But to beat them on the day when Pelé is sick, when Neymar say not playing next World Cup, for them to win that World Cup and then the next day Pelé pass away. This is what them they're not playing for me. They're playing for 200 something million people in Brazil who know what 20 years is, a whole generation. You know. I was in Form 2 when Brazil last won the World Cup. You know. Yeah. Men born and hear stories. So this is it here. This is was the last World Cup. You really think that Brazil is going to let England beat them or France beat them? Croatia? Even if Argentina bypass Netherlands for some weird reason, you think they're going to let Messi take that shine off of them to make back-to-back final? Sorry, not back-to-back final, to make 2 finals in 3 tournaments? No, man, come on. Argentina is 1 man. Brazil is 1 billion people. That is what Brazil is. Look, Chad don't even back Brazil. You have on our Brazil juice. Everybody loves Brazil. Everybody loves Brazil. You know why? You know everybody loves Brazil? Everybody watch Brazil play because they love to see them win or you love to see them lose, but you love to watch them play.
I don't think seriously enough. I don't think Brazil have as many haters as other teams. I think people like watching Brazil because even if they may not back them, they know they're supposed to see good football. They're supposed to see exciting football, and everybody, once you like football, you like to see good football. Nobody don't like to see boring football. Yeah. And that is why Brazil will always have a lot of support.
I apologize for that word slipping out there.
So for me personally,
this program is for adults, you know. So you know what I mean. It's not that
prediction. I'm going to stick with what I was telling my colleague on work as well. After I saw how things were playing out, and for me, whoever wins between England and France will win the World Cup.
Ooh, okay.
Whichever one of those teams qualify from that game, for me, is going to win the World Cup. The reality is, all right, so Argentina with McAllister in there is looking at a different team to an extent, which is kind of cool. I saw that De Paul, he wasn't having the best World Cup, but he's injured, so I know, and Argentina panics when the injuries happen. Messi started to kind of come alive a little bit, but I think it may be too little, too late. Brazil, my one concern, I think, with Brazil is in terms of not their fan base, but the pressure that they will be under going through in every game from here on now. So they're going to be expecting Brazil to slam and demolish every team they come up against. This is the quarterfinals going in, and then you're going to have a semi-final and then a final. And you don't want it to be a case where you're going to have halftime 0-0, and when you come back out, the fans and them done impatient, and that you don't need that pressure. And I think that with the youth, with the young players they have, I think they could quiver under that. I'm not saying they will, but with France, England, these two teams are two real powerhouse teams. We could finally say that England has a powerhouse team. We couldn't say that for so many years, regardless of the roster. But with the football that they really have been playing, England is looking like a powerhouse team. whichever team beats the other here, the moral boost and the confidence they would have, I think it will carry them right through towards that final and take them over the line. I don't know who I could see. I really can't say. I can't say I could see France beating England. I can't say I could see England beating France, because for me, as opposed to other people who I talk to on work and things, everybody seems to be saying France, yeah, well, England going home. I not seeing that. Nobody football I see in play. So whichever team wins here, for me, becomes the person. For me, that's the person that will win the World Cup.
No, yeah, that's a fair assessment.
It's not going to be Messi.
I am going to say it. I think I'm a little surprised with myself for seeing it. But I think if it is a England versus Brazil final, that England going to win.
What?
If it's a France,
Just log out of this thing here, boy. I just log out of this thing here.
if it's a France,
Just leave
if
this
it's a France-Brazil final, I pick Brazil to win.
You know what?
And I will tell you why on both cases. Why? I don't think players at this level of football, at this stage in your career, in a final, just be thinking revenge. But the football gods have a way of being a particular way. Jesus himself talk about Belgium and German demise being linked to playing Brazil.
The beaten Brazil.
I think you see the allegations that came out that there was some skullduggery against the Brazilian team the last time they met France in a final, right? I think it's Platini had come out and said that certain things were afoot to ensure that France not just meet Brazil, but that France end up winning that World Cup. I think if France play Brazil, those chickens are going to come home to roost, and Brazil going to beat France, right? Because that's just how the football gods work. I think if England play Brazil, it's going to work in the reverse, because Brazil has thrown fire on England, has thrown water on England a few times in the World Cup in the history. So I think whoever, I pick Brazil regardless. I expect Brazil to be on the side. If, God forbid, Argentina makes the final, I'd hope not, but I don't see it, but if Argentina makes the final, whoever they're playing against, it could be Morocco, I don't care.
The way Portugal, Argentina bad.
I know a lot of people want that. I mean, I was saying that before the tournament started. I thought that would be a perfect final to just put it to rest, the good conversation.
Who going to watch that?
After watching all the football, I think Brazil deserves to be in that final. And I agree with Adelaide that France, England, whoever wins that game deserves to be in the final as well. So
if Morocco beat Portugal and then beat whoever win France, England, no.
Well, football wins. We'll all be wrong and football will win, so that will be cool anyway.
I wouldn't want to face that side, though. A side like that boy, them fellas had to beat boy. Them on a rule right now, so it had to beat them.
Yeah.
I can't even. I mean, we didn't even talk about that side like Portugal, Morocco, and Portugal without Ronaldo. I do like the conversation people pushing with that, but then Portugal with Ronaldo they look deadly.
Yeah, they are better without him. They definitely have a better team without him.
See that word they use there? You see that word they use there? Ronaldo is the reason that Portugal is as good as they are right now.
Yeah, I'm not debating that to a great extent, but here's what I'm saying.
It's not a great there's facts. It's not
all right. So even if it's facts, the thing about it is Ronaldo is his own demise, He's suffering from he is causing himself to be where he is. All teams are going to play. It doesn't matter where Ronaldo could come down here in the Ascension League and play for Terminex Rangers. And if he tries to do what he's doing here, Terminex Rangers going to suffer if he plays with them. And it's a simple reason. Ronaldo is not the same Ronaldo as before. Ronaldo is trying to be involved in all the plays and trying to be. That is not who he is anymore. Ronaldo at best right now is a poacher. He's the greatest finisher of plays that is still exists in the game. I don't care about what his scoring drought is and stuff. If he decides to come to realization, the acceptance that, yo, get the balls into me and I will finish the plays like how Giroud and them do it. His movement is still Carmack the guy. But he's trying to play like when he was 23, 24, 25. Like that phase of you, it really is gone. And if Ronaldo decides to be like, okay, well, all right, I can't be involved and stuff, just put the ball, I am going to finish the plays. There is nobody that is going to stop him from doing that. Nobody. So he's putting extra pressure on himself to deliver a game that he no longer has. And I think personally now, when you play him on any team, you're playing with Portugal now, he's demanding the ball, he's drifting out wide, he's trying to get the ball to take on people and all these stuff, and it's looking atrocious. He's making himself look bad. Get involved, you just stay on the line, on the shoulder, the line, you make a normal movement because defenders are not going to be able to stay with you. His offensive IQ and movement is still, for me, above any other player that is out there. So for me, if he gets that mindset, and if he gets that mindset, he needs to start for Portugal. He needs to start for any team he's at. But he doesn't have that mindset.
So then why it is that we look at Ronaldo and we say, yeah, boy, you hold back your team, bench. But when we look at Argentina, I don't want to make this about it, but when you look at Argentina with Messi, and look at you look at the total career of both of them with the national team. Ronaldo has done more for Portugal than Messi has ever done for Argentina.
Yeah, and that for me.
And I'm speaking about also when the Copa win, because at 18, Ronaldo was beating England, was helping Portugal beat England in 2006 World Cup to reach a semi-final. What Messi was doing for Argentina at that time? Ronaldo
he was struggling fighting up in Mexico.
Ronaldo won 2 internationally recognized trophies. People might recognize Liga Nations. It's not for me. Not for me. The FIFA does that, not me.
Yeah.
Before then, Messi won the Copa. All of a sudden, Messi's better. Messi stayed on that team for so long is detriment to Argentina going forward. Because
I don't think it's that, I was telling someone, what is Messi's problem? Messi has one problem, and this is what I've always said.
When Ronaldo came through from Portugal, besides Figo, you can't name a proper 11. Since Ronaldo, Portugal have been to 10 tournaments. They have never missed a World Cup since he's been there. He's carried Portugal to the World Cup. Every single year he's been there.
Yeah.
He didn't have the amount of talent around him that Argentina produces. Not Messi, Argentina. After Ronaldo, Portugal started to say, you know what? Yeah, but let's develop our players. Look at the Portuguese league. They started build players, buy youth players, and sell them out. Look, João Felix went for 100 million to Atletico Madrid. 6 years ago, we couldn't even think about a player from the Portuguese league going for that amount of money. But Ronaldo showed them, hey, we have the talent in here. Do not wait. Yes, they had the Deco and Figo. I'm not saying no. Argentina known for producing great players throughout the years.
Yeah, but I think with the price tag with these young players, we can't rate the price tag and we see like João Felix and all these other players going for because football has become so watered down. Anybody he score 5 goals, he put on some flair, he score 10 goals, put on some flair, they go in and say he's 90 million.
I'll say nothing.
But the talent is right. You're I totally agree with you. Totally.
They've always had talent. So when
but the problem for me is not the talent, The problem has always been this. And it has never been, I've heard a lot of people say it, and for me that is erroneous. It has never been that Messi has underperformed with Argentina, But what I have always blamed Messi for, Messi has never had Messi's strength has always been his weakness, and his strength being his selflessness. His football mind works so much that he always like, if I have an open pass, I'll pass a ball, throw that ball too far, man, to score. And Messi never knows when to take over a game, when to be like, well, this is my game. Well, unfortunate for us, as always, AC Milan, he find a reason to say when we was 2-0 up, to say, well, okay, oh, good. Wow, all of a sudden, Messi realized I should take over this game. But we ain't going to go down that road. Anyhow, what I'm saying is, Cristiano Ronaldo, what I would rate him for, when they played, I think it was the last World Cup, I believe, against Spain, and he always had that mindset. When the team, he was involved with the team, trying to get the other players involved. Spain was really taking it to them, and he don't wait. He realized, and his mindset is, this game is my game. I had to win this summer team, and he scored the brilliant hat trick. Right, one of the greatest hat tricks you ever see. Messi continuously. So 2010. He trusted, he took them to a distance. He trusted Higuain, didn't work. He went to the Copa America, trusted Higuain and other players, didn't step up to the plate to say, well, I'll take over this game. It cost him. 2014 World Cup, had Germany for dead. Same thing. Had chances. He took on defenders. He could have carried on and scored for himself. He tried to trust it and pass it up to somebody. Same thing. It's something that Messi continuously does. And this is why I don't have Messi, Argentina per se, as winning the World Cup, because for me, when you reach a final, if you're going to say, well, I will rely on Messi in this final, you are not going to win the final. Messi doesn't have that mindset. He's not going to step up to the plate and say, well, this final, you see, this moment, there's Messi time, Messi going to happen here, and I'm going to win it here. Messi doesn't have that, and that is why it's not going to happen. But as for performance sake, the man hasn't been performing. He has been progressively getting better in the World Cup this year as well. But is this Messi going to show up in a final? For me, absolutely not. Because his track record shows when the final comes, he is not going to take over the game. I could put money on that. It doesn't matter who they're playing. He is not going to take over the game and be like, this is my game. He's going to try to lay off things for other players, and it's going to cause Argentina.
Yeah, but when I made that same statement and said that if Cristiano Ronaldo was playing Germany in Brazil, he was sitting every shot. If it's in Kobe selfish, he was sitting every single shot.
Yep.
Ronaldo's impact for Portugal is greater than Messi's impact for Argentina. When I say that, people tell me, I look at that.
It is debatable. It is debatable.
It's not debate.
It is debatable.
Argentina produces great players since football start. They had what's the name? They had Maradona. They had Batistuta. They had Juan Verón. They've had great players. Before Ronaldo, you had Deco, you had Figo, you had Visibo. Who else they had?
They had Manish, that Helder Pastiga,
my point
that
is they don't come off the tip of your tongue to the average football fan. They don't.
Well, true.
After Ronaldo, you start to see Bernardo Silva, you start to see Fernandez, you start to see Renato Sanchez, you see Ramos now, you see the guy from AC Milan, Rafael, Leao, is Leao. You understand? You start to see all these players coming out like, where these players was, it's because Ronaldo showed up, hey, we have the talent, just develop the talent. Ronaldo showed them that. So if you have to bench now, if I am him, I'm sitting down and say, yeah, boy, this is a combination of my legacy and Portuguese football. This is
this right now, where we reach in this conversation, is where I will jump in and put my 2 cents.
Mm-hmm.
Because I totally agree with what Elise was saying as far as Messi not taking over games. Because I remember that final against AC Milan. I was back in AC Milan against Barca because I don't really like Barcelona. And Messi took over that game, and it was scary. It was the first time I started to recognize Messi as a great player. Was that game against AC Milan? Serious. I was like, wait, this you different. Right? But he don't do it often enough, and I'm glad, right? Because I prefer Ronaldo over Messi. But I agree with Jesus. Portuguese football has been as successful and has built an impressive house on the back of Ronaldo.
Yeah.
The problem to me is that Ronaldo needs to recognize he's going through like a midlife crisis.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
You know, like them old men who still want to wear the shirt with the gold chain and the shirt down, and they still want to go party, and all they hear agree, and they don't understand why the young girls, they are accustomed women flunging around them now because they grew up in that. Why these young girls not coming around me? What going on? I buying bottle, I think. What going on? Why are you going around them young bloods? Because that is just how life is. Yeah, when you get old, you don't always do it. And Ronaldo should be having the same attitude that Dr. Zeus says he should have. He should recognize, and nobody could argue against that Ronaldo has brought Portuguese football to another level.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But he needs to recognize, I built this house. Now let me enjoy the house. Let the players carry me now.
That's his
You know,
problem.
if Portugal was to win the World Cup, people would say, even if Ronaldo doesn't score an next goal between now and the end of the tournament, people would still be saying Ronaldo because he built the house. But he still seems to, he behaves like he's still building the house. Like he's supposed to be outside, putting up bricks and mortar and paint. No, you just supposed to go inside and sit on the couch now.
We had fault for that, though, Chad. We had fault for that because when he was on the bench the last game, most reporters were on him. When he
but and also look at how the fans reacted when he get up and he take off that baby.
Exactly. So
watch me. When I heard the roar in the stadium, I started to check my phone and I said, but wait, it don't have no simultaneous games going on. No, serious. I was like, news going on in the world. What causing all of this? Then I hear the reporter say, well, yeah, Ronaldo take off, he baby coming on. And I was like, look how these people love this man. But he as well has to recognize, you know, I was having a conversation with some other football gentlemen this morning. And men was saying, you know, I can't say Ronaldo too old. And they started to call men. And all the men they call was defenders. And I tell them, let me tell you something. Goalkeepers and defenders age differently.
Yeah.
Shelf life.
Right? Defenders, and you get older as a defender, you may lose your speed, but your ability to anticipate still allows you to be elite. As a goalkeeper, you may lose, again, that speed, but your ability to know where the shot coming from, when it coming, and where it going, will still allow you to have superior positioning. A younger, more energetic, more explosive goalkeeper. But when Ronaldo plays, you want to play, as you say, not as the finisher, not as the fox in the box. You want to be there and men passing ball and you want to run onto ball. You expecting to still have the explosiveness, but you don't have it. You don't have it. If you, God forbid, Ronaldo runs through and get a true ball behind the line, he now running the defender will catch him.
Yeah, true.
Right? And he has to realize, and I think he's going through a midlife crisis where in his mind, he is still as he was as 30.
Yeah. Yep. But shall I ask this question, right? It have 8 billion people in the world. Let's say for argument's sake, 1 billion watching the football, one game per 2 hours right now. You are Cristiano Ronaldo. In fact, you are Chad. You still Chad Phillip. And every time you on a field, whether on the bench or whatnot, about 500 million people watching you, all that attention on you. You would want to give up that?
No, I understand. I understand.
You know how much
it doesn't change.
No, you know how much.
Don't change. Let me tell you something.
From 18 to 37, going on to 30, the last 20 years, millions of people watching whatever you do. You want to give up that? That is I can't even process 10 people.
I agree with you, but the only problem where Ronaldo is concerned is this. He is in danger of helping Messi be crowned the greatest player of all time.
Why?
Yeah, I think that conversation over already.
No, why? Why?
If he continues to sully his legacy. You see, if he was to bow out or go out gracefully,
Chad, I have nothing to do with 890.
Cristiano Ronaldo, I think in conversation, Cristiano Ronaldo could never go down as the greatest player of all time again. I think what goes for him now, he's going to go down as the greatest goal scorer of all time. I think he already damaged his legacy from a long time before. And what disappoints me the most with Cristiano Ronaldo, he has always been focusing on himself a lot. And I give Alex Ferguson a lot of credit for this guy in terms of how he nurtured him, how he developed him, because when he came, I used to watch him by Sporting Lisbon when he had no start. I'd always like him, but he was always kind of arrogant and cocky. When he came by Man U, he came with that, but Ferguson polished him, refined him, put him in the striker role, kind of like after he had the blistering season as a winger, and got him to adopt himself. I think what happened is he went across by Madrid, and Cristiano Ronaldo has never been concerned about anything else about himself, as a fact, right? But as I always tell people, that is the man's personal mindset. You can never, I always isolate those things. That is him That is a personality trait. That is one thing. Don't match that with football. Whether or not he care about himself, what he does for football, he does for football.
If you use
But
it,
the man is a premier finisher, and he never. How
But
to
you
say,
still-
boy?
yeah, but you
I
still
don't
use
know,
it.
boy. He's stuck in an era. Mentally, he's stuck in an era. And I think now, more than ever, especially the last 2 years or so, it's starting to catch up with him.
Yeah, but all
It's
you
starting to
can
catch up with him to the extent where he's like,
you see
he's
what I don't
not
like it?
accepting that he's not a player anymore.
Let me hear what Jesus
This
saying.
is where the conversation has started to get muddy with me. You know that this is his personality.
Mhm.
Let's praise Maradona as one of the greatest footballers ever. Heavy cocaine user, heavy drug user. That's his personal life. He chooses to do that. But yet you bypass that and look at what he do for football. But for Ronaldo, he's being beaten for his own.
No, but that's why I said his personal thing. I not taking that and putting that with football. What his personal thing is, that is him.
Whatever he does,
Wait as I say, Jesus.
Chad, whatever he does as a man, he's responsible for that as him.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Very good.
When we talk about him damaging his legacy,
He can never damage.
we are not talking about personally, you know.
Yeah, but he can never damage.
I
his legacy.
already said, you heard me say here, I rate Ronaldo above Messi.
Yeah, but he can
So-
never damage his legacy. How can he tarnish something that is untarnishable?
So he's not playing. He's stuck in an era. He's not doing what his body's
You-
allowing him to do anymore.
You as a fan, Jesus, and as somebody who appreciates Ronaldo, you see that. And a lot of hardcore Ronaldo fans see that. But there are a lot of people in the media. I personally think it's a South American bias. But there are a lot of people in the media, they will say, oh, you know, Messi is so humble, which I don't think is true. But nevertheless, Messi is humble and this and that. And they have elevated Messi. And when Ronaldo acts the way he does, even though people who've been watching Ronaldo all his life knows he has always been like that, it gives them a reason to diminish him. And in the full argument, it is numbers that wins the game. And the way I look at it, Ronaldo has, let's just say, 1 billion people on the planet are hardcore football people. Ronaldo has about 300,000 solidly in his camp. 300 million, solidly in his camp. And Messi have about the same. Hardcore Messi, hardcore Ronaldo, to me is about the same. But you see that difference, that 400 million in the middle, the media, they sway them fellas. And if you listen to media pundits, they have tilted towards Messi. And what Ronaldo is doing now is not helping. That is all I'm saying. I am not arguing that Messi is greater than Ronaldo. All I'm saying is the reality is we live in a world where media affects people's opinion. And you can't tell me when you listen to these media pundits that they don't try to elevate Messi.
Right. And anytime I speak with anybody within that space, anything, and I bring up whoever going Ronaldo right now, I simply ask them, do you consider Maradona one of the greatest footballers? They will say yes. And I'll say, so he cocaine use does not come into this at all then. Then if they say, well, then,
and you're preaching to the choir. Both of us here agree with you.
If Chad is one of the greatest sports, has one of the greatest sports host personalities in Trinidad and Tobago, whatever he does outside of that, once it's not impacting the show, should it be considered? Should that be held against him? Look at Russell Latipi, Dwight York, Brian Lara. They don't have some of the best known personality traits outside of the area.
People know some of it, but Ronaldo also does a lot of philanthropy. He does a lot of giving. He supports a lot of causes.
He building hospitals in Portugal when it's COVID.
So but it's all about perception. And I personally believe, as I say, it's a South American bias.
People love.
For me, the thing about it is it has nothing to even do. So from my perspective, it has nothing to do with the personalities and the whole things, and it has nothing to do with that for me, For me, I for years my advocation has always been the whole debate between Messi and Ronaldo, who better, would always be based on preference because the guys were basically equal. Two different styles of play, two different mindsets, so they were always on par. So for me, the debate I always just say, appreciate the guys for what they bring to the table. Like, we're trying to diminish one to lift the next one, or diminish the next one to lift the next one. The two guys are two elite people that we will never see again. and we had to keep them there. My
don't know about
only
that, man.
issue with
I
Ronaldo
know
is
you'll never see that quality of football again. But
At
go
the
ahead.
same
Yeah.
time, at the same
But
time.
my thing with Ronaldo is this: Ronaldo, he is reaching a phase where in his life, where his strength has always been finishing, and he had the magic in him before, and he had the legs and stuff before. Messi has the same thing that Maradona had, which is a skill called close control, elite close control, which is something that, regardless if you lose speed, regardless if you lose anything else, that skill would remain with you till the day you retire. Because close control means you will always be able to put your body between man and ball. And once you have balance, you don't need so much speed. It allows you to dribble elitely. So it's a different style of play and a different attribute he has to Ronaldo. But Ronaldo, his entire arsenal, is even his leap, his speed, his agility, all these things have diminished. But his finishing has never dropped. For me, it never has. It's actually continued to get better. So, and his offensive IQ and movement continue to get higher as well. Because most players, we watch even legends. Let's talk about Batistuta. Let's go down the line and talk about even, we could talk about Michael Owen even, and he didn't even play until so long. We could talk about plenty elite strikers who we have known from before, and when they reach a certain age, when they lose pace, it affected their movement that made them so dangerous before. And when with Ronaldo, he has lost pace tremendously, if we're being fair. But his movement is still can be traced. For me, why are you still trying to pull wider and get ball and take on people when your attributes no longer lend to that? Utilize what you have. And that is my only debate with Ronaldo. He has been trying, it's like his mind has been locked now in some time warp where he feels like I am still this guy. And all for the life of me, I made a prediction with somebody. They had a prediction thing going wrong, and my prediction was Ronaldo being top scorer for the World Cup. I predicted that. He's not my favorite player to say, but I predicted that because I expected, well, at least the World Cup is here. He's going to realize, well, with Portugal's system, I'm going to be the finisher of plays, and nobody's going to stop him. But he played with Portugal, and still he hasn't done that. And people are saying, well, he getting the pressure with all the different things. Ronaldo has been getting pressure from the media from ever since. So he knows how to deal with that media pressure. So for me, I don't think that is the issue. I think the issue is that Ronaldo still believes that he don't believe he had to prove anything to anybody, but he still believes that he's the player he was 5-6 years ago in terms of what he brought to the table, in terms of his skill, his flair, his take on. And I think once he adopts in his mind that, that aspect of my game is gone, and I don't even need to showcase that because everybody knows what I could do. I don't have nothing to prove to nobody else. If he does that, the legacy is going to go down. And for me, it's always going to go down that Messi and Ronaldo are the two greatest players we probably ever see before. And respecting both of them on their levels for what they did, because as I say, it's apple and oranges in terms of the style, in terms of all the different things you could look at. One played one club for most of his life, so obviously he developed more there. The next one had to go from place to place, and that could have helped in terms of how he redefined his game, different things, but was still elite. But all in all, Ronaldo needs to be a finisher of plays. That is what his attributes lend to now, his skill set. And if he does that, Ronaldo can play until he's 42 in the top leagues in the world, in the Premier League, in the Spanish Premier League, all these things. But he needs to just get his mind shifted around that.
Yeah, we have said something there about Maradona and Messi, the same attribute thing. Messi can never be Maradona. Because all that we have there, Maradona still have a World Cup. And that is where Maradona and
Messi can't be Maradona, not because of the World Cup. It's not because of the World Cup. That is not why Messi can't be Maradona. Messi can't be Maradona because of the mindset. And I think that's what we alluded to before. It has nothing to do with what Maradona wanted, Messi cannot be Maradona because he don't have the mindset that Maradona had. And if you watch Maradona and you follow Maradona, you'll realize Maradona actually had the mindset that Cristiano Ronaldo had. Where Maradona, when he realized that game is going a certain way, it didn't matter who was around him because he had players. But Maradona is like, this is my game. I will win it there for the team. Messi does not have that.
Messi, arguably for Argentina, has had better players around him than Maradona. And
yes, he does. Yes, he did. He has always had a lot of different players.
So why people, you can't tell me on the same caliber. Don't tell me that.
Hold on. We join this conversation.
for if it was for
But
Cristiano,
we've gone,
if Messi was for
we've
Messi
gone
was-
past an hour and a half. I don't
Because
think we ever had a show
every
so
time,
long.
every time football starts, it's all boiled back down to these two. Like, how can why?
So
When
what
they
it
go on,
is,
when they go on, we go talk about Mbappe and who? No, not even Haaland. I like Haaland, not even Haaland. Mbappe and
so
who?
what it is we're going to do, I think we're going to have a whole show. Not right after the World Cup because the Premier League starts.
Mm.
Probably in January when it have a little break,
Mm.
you know, some FA Cup and other games going on. We have our program and we will discuss, we will ventilate this whole conversation of Messi versus Ronaldo. We have a whole show on that alone.
You
At
looking
that
for
point in
man,
time.
you looking for man to find me man living. How can I? You know that Messi fans are very, very personal. Oh, Messi. Like, if there's one thing I will give Messi. Messi has something Ronaldo hopefully never gets. That's two retirements. That is all I have to say about that. That is the first one, the next one coming.
And a propensity to miss big penalties. But
Oh,
moving
yes,
along.
yes. He
So
does,
you
he
all heard
does.
it right here, folks. Dr. Zeus prediction. Brazil versus France in the final. Ariles, Brazil versus whoever wins between France
Yes,
and
and England.
England in the final. My prediction, Brazil versus England in the final. So all you know what to do with that information, go over there and make some money. And if you know, remember where the information came from, feel free to share. For all of us here at the United Hour and the Rewind, enjoy the rest of your day. Football is back tomorrow, please God. So be safe, people.
Yes, I.
Yeah, man.
Support the United Hour. Click that like button and subscribe.